Julie, how are you feeling?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Very well. So today we're going to complete assessment task B for respond to suspected abuse. So I guess you've got the instructions and also the assessment criteria. Do you have any questions about what's involved there?
I don't think so. I think we'll just go forward and we can all help one another. There's a learning curve.
Yeah, that's right. So it is about learning. So Nadine is your supervisor and she will take on the role of the parent for part A. While I guess you're conducting the discussion, I need to complete a checklist. And at the end of the assessment, I'll give you some feedback. If there's anything in the checklist that you've not demonstrated, there is opportunity for, I guess, a reset. And so I can give you some feedback because I want to set you up for success. Are you comfortable to start?
Sure.
Okay. When you're ready.
Hello Nadine, thank you for meeting with
Hi,
me.
Julie.
Just regarding your son Alex, it has been handed over to me by Alex's support worker that they are quite concerned at times due to a cough that Alex has had over the last few weeks.
He's always has that. He's always outside, doesn't want to wear shoes. That's normal.
Okay, so are you aware of Alex's cough?
Yeah. He comes and goes. Probably going to go soon.
Okay, so is his cough in the last 2 weeks worse than normal?
Maybe a little bit, but it's been quite cold, so maybe that's just the weather.
So have you had him to the doctors at all?
You know what? I don't really believe in taking him to the doctor straight away because they just give antibiotics and that's not good for the body. He's 3. He's probably he can fight it off himself.
Okay, so has the doctor ever done a chest X-ray or tested him for asthma or anything like that?
No, not really.
No. Have you been giving him any cough medicine or to
No,
help
just
with
hot
the cough?
lemon with honey. He likes that.
Okay, so does Alex complain to you about his cough?
Well, sometimes he says that he can't sleep properly when he wakes up and then he's tired in the morning, I guess. But
So what do you have in place that if he wakes up in the night and he can't sleep?
I'm just I just go and just make sure that he goes back to sleep, turn his music back on.
Okay, so it's been handed over that Alex has probably developed that a wheezy type of cough, and once again it's been handed over to me that he appears to be quite exhausted from this.
Yeah.
And as I say, I just needed to touch base with you because of staff concern. It's our staff duty of care for Alex, who my staff is supporting. Do you think that you could probably take him to emergency or get another opinion from a doctor? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah. I think, like I said, I'm not feeling comfortable feeling comfortable taking him to the doctors. But I don't know. Do you know any? Like maybe a homeopath? I'll be happy to maybe see if there's maybe a homeopath we can take him first.
That would be great. And I mean, if you're struggling for time, our staff would always help you with the medical appointments.
Okay.
So
that would be great because I feel quite overwhelmed with all the other kids and
That's
stuff.
fine.
Sometimes I just don't have the time to.
That's fine, and that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Supporting Alex and trying to help you to maintain a healthy lifestyle for Alex.
Yeah.
Especially, as I say, when the cough and wheezing is probably getting worse. So please don't ever feel it's too hard, I can't get him there, the baby's asleep and it's a
Yeah.
2 o'clock appointment to take Alex, please yell out for help and
Yeah.
we're here to help you.
Okay, I appreciate that.
So, you know, I'm happy to like Google some naturopaths or for you. And if you're happy for me to do that,
Yeah, that'd be
I can
great.
help.
That'd be a good help. Thank you.
yeah. Continue.
Do you feel that you've covered everything adequately? Okay, so I'm happy to give you some feedback. So Julie, I found that, I observed that you indicated clearly what the concern was. So in this instance, you let Nadine, the parent in this role play, know that you have received feedback from your staff, and you described what those observations were. You also touched on, I guess, your organisation's procedures, so the responsibilities that you have. So you talked about your duty of care. I also found that you, I guess, found a way forward that Mum in this case was prepared to, I guess, consent to. So in this case, Mum was open to seeing someone in sort of like natural medicines, and so that was still some actions available. I guess opportunities for improvement would be setting some time frames around that agreement, because we're conscious that we've got concerns for the child's welfare. He's had a cough for a period of time, and we wouldn't want there to be any sort of significant delays. It was helpful that you articulated the scope of the service, so that if Mum's busy or she's stressed with other caring responsibilities, what the service could do to provide some additional support. The other opportunities for improvement, just in terms of mirroring some body language. Sometimes leaning forward can be a non-verbal way to communicate that we're listening, and I guess those vocalizations, I did hear them, so like yes, to indicate that you're listening. Sometimes just in terms of the pace, it could be perceived that it was cutting Mum off, so it was just a little bit too quick. And so at this stage, I'm not able to say that you're competent, but we still do have 2 other scenarios for you to be able to demonstrate competency. And I'm happy to go through the requirements in more detail with you, and give you some time before we go through the other scenarios. I also have some questions, if you're happy for me to ask them of you now. Okay. So what organisational policies or procedures guide you when a client discloses information that suggests they have been abused, or you suspect the client has been abused? Anything here in the organisation?
So we would follow our abuse policy and document everything, contact, say, our supervisor, our manager, follow up on abuse. If the client is old enough, just reassure them that we are here to support them and we've documented everything, and please don't be afraid, we're here to help you.
Can you think of a specific policy that the organisation has that sort of governs our commitment to do those things?
We've just done that training. I can't think of the exact name, but it's the abuse and
but
It's something in abuse, but I just can't think of the exact name. I think because we jump on our staff portal and we look for the appropriate policy, and then we read that policy and we follow that policy. But the exact wording, I can't think at the moment, but we would find it on the portal.
find it on the portal. Thank you, Julie. The second question is, what international conventions, legislation or standards inform you on the rights of a person who has a disability?
Can you read it again, please?
Absolutely. So, what international conventions, legislation or standards inform you on the rights of a person who has a disability?
So it's their right.
Can you think of some standards, some national standards that we might have that informs our service?
Respect, confidentiality. I think confidentiality has got a lot to do with abuse, that we have to respect the client's confidentiality when they're discussing abuse to us. Their rights there, got to respect them. We're going to confidentiality.
That's okay. Thank you,
Yeah.
Julie. And my last question is, so how do you ensure that the follow-up actions you have taken after you suspect a person is experiencing abuse, or the client has made a disclosure to you, is in accordance with your organisation policy and procedures?
Okay, so I would always follow up with the client.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even if a child is 5, you know, I would still go in gentle, talk calmly, talk basic to a young child, making sure that they are safe and secure. We're here to help them. And even if it's with an older client that may understand communication a lot better, just reassure them that we're doing everything will be followed up. I would keep them updated. And if a client is like non-verbal, you would then, if it is the guardian or the parent that's not involved in the abuse, I would then speak to the guardian or the parent, or if this client is deafblind, you do sign language in the hope that they can understand that, or whatever form of communication, they would be supported through that area.
Can I ask the question again? How do you ensure, because these are your follow-up actions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so these sorts of follow-up actions that you've given me, how do you ensure that these actions that you've done are in accordance with your organisation policy or procedures? You touched on it before. Where do you go?
Oh, okay. So anything in relation to what I've just explained, I always would jump on the portal. So whether, you know, we can type in a sentence and then that area would take us to a portal that we would then follow up with whatever is needed.
What are you looking for on the portal?
So I'm looking for abuse neglect policy.
And when you find that policy, what do you do with it?
Of course I would read it. If there's other staff, example, on shift with this client, I would print it, make the other staff aware of it, and I probably would then email supervisor, the manager, following up saying all staff have read neglect and abuse policy, and we will follow those procedures.
Okay, thank you, Julie. So I guess there's, as I mentioned, in terms of, I guess, demonstrating some of what was in the checklist, there's still a few gaps for us to go through, and so I'll go through them with you in more detail, and you're able to reset the assessment. And we've still got scenarios 2 and 3 for you to be able to go through. So I'm just saying that not yet satisfactory, that you are able to set a reassessment. Is there any feedback that you have for me? And what I'd say is I'm happy to step out of the room if you want to have a think and collect your thoughts, and then if there's anything that you'd like to give to me as your assessor, please feel free to make a note of it and then just to sign. So I'll step out to give you some time to have a think about.
Yeah.
Because I'd appreciate any feedback that you can give for me in regards to the assessment process. Thank you, Julie,
Thank
for
you.
your time.
Thank you.